Hey everybody, today we're doing Devlog 2 for Crazy Color Clash, which comes out here in just a couple of weeks. I'm very excited about how this game is coming along. Today we're going to refactor the game to have the MVC framework, where models, views, and controllers are used. We're going to add a score screen and then a fun little confetti cannon towards the end. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what it's all about. If you are interested in playing the game, I'd love for you to check out crazycolorclash.com. There's a couple more weeks of the beta where you can have all the power-ups for free, so make sure to give that a try. And let's go ahead and see what the code is all about today.
All right, so today what I wanted to do while building the app was split out the view components from the actual mechanics or controls of the game, the functionality. And so I decided to use the MVC model here, or framework, where you have views, which are the things that you actually see on screen. You have controllers, which is the functionality of the application that you're using. And then you have models, which define like the objects or the database items that you're going to use. This game doesn't have any database items, so my models are going to be things like the players, objects, the settings, etc. So coming back to the view portion, I wanted to go ahead and build out the menu a bit. So I started playing with drop-downs a bit in Swift UI, and as you can see here, I added a game length timer that you could choose from. I would later rip this out completely because I didn't want the user to have such control. The reason for that is I wanted a really consistent gaming experience, and so we later decided to settle on 90 seconds for each game instead of allowing the player to choose. So after kind of playing with that, went back to the controller aspect here, and you can see I'm pulling out pieces and putting it in this mechanics file, which is going to serve as the eventual controller for anything that actually has to deal with the game, the behind the scenes, the scoring, the power-ups eventually, switching all of the colors. Anything that has logic is going to live separately outside of the view. And this is really to make sure that when you are building out something, that you know exactly where things live and you're not mixing all of your logic together. So now I switched over to the model portion of MVC, and as you can see, I'm building out a player object. There's going to be 2 players, so why not be able to build a single object that can create 2 different players from? And then following that up with the settings itself. So this is going to store objects such as the game length, maybe what page you're on. You can see here I've got hard mode, which is a Boolean, true or false. Eventually I would get rid of this as well. And so coming back here to the view, we're kind of bouncing all over the place because we wanted to really split that up. And so there's a lot of refactoring going on, not a lot of true changes, but just cleaning it up so it's much more maintainable for myself, so that my speed of coding can actually improve quite a bit. And so this is the view portion. I'm building out the view router here, as you can see, adding different pages, splitting them up so that we have a true flow from menu to game to eventually, towards the end of this video, the score view, which is actually going to show the players how they did and things of that nature. So this is me coming back to the logic. To be able to get the player to the score page, we need to be able to end the game properly. And so I've had a bug for quite a while in this application where the game wouldn't end correctly. As you can see here, it continues to go after the timer is completely done. So we need to make sure that when the game timer hits 0, that we're actually sending the player to the score view. And this happened here because I simply needed to swap the order of the checks in that if statement. So this is the score view, very simple, shows the score and whether you won, tied, or lost. And so wanted to continue to build on this, adding in the buttons, and eventually building it out so that both players' scores populate on the screen here. As you can see right there, player 1 wins. And that's great, but it's not very visual. So I wanted to go ahead and look for a Confetti package, and I found one on GitHub that Swift allows you to import. This is really going to bring a little pop to the end of the game here. Whoever wins is going to have a little confetti cannon explode on their side of the screen, notifying them that essentially they were the winner. So what it needs is we wanted to add the winner text here. And so we have a function that returns us whatever the text was so that we can reuse it for both players. And then finally, once this item appears on the screen, right, once we hit the score view, we want to shoot the confetti cannon for whichever player won. So we're adding a check here to say, hey, if the score of player 1 is greater than player 2, you won, and so shoot the confetti cannon or increment the value for the confetti cannon for player 1. Whichever one is incremented is actually going to shoot the thing on screen, and we can see that here. So kind of cute, very simple. I did go ahead and fix it for both players. And so player 2's now falls correctly because their screen is technically inverted as it's played on a single device. And so I wanted to make some tweaks here to make sure that it actually showed up a little bit bigger, maybe exploded a little bit larger, things of that nature. So just really playing with the parameters of this confetti package. As you can see, that was quite a bit of confetti. And so playing with the options to make sure I get the optimal explosion here. I'm still not super happy with it, but we'll continue to refine that until the end of the game.
And there you have it. We went ahead today and added the MVC framework, we added a menu, and we added a confetti cannon towards the end. Really hope that you have enjoyed this devlog. Next time we're going to go and dive into adding additional menus. We're going to polish up the game. We're going to continue to refactor, add unit tests, and things of that nature. So I hope you stick around eventually for devlog 3. Go ahead and download the game at crazycolorclash.com. The beta lasts for a couple more weeks where you can get all the power-ups for free. And so if you liked what you saw today, make sure you subscribe to me. We'll see you next time.